Good morning, selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera. Thank you for being here with us at this session on seeking more fulfillment in retirement. It's actually a question mark, it's not a statement. Yeah? So this is part of FIMM Annual Convention 2021. We have an exciting lineup of all female panelists today, except me, of course. I'm the moderator. A warm welcome and thank you to Ms. Jasmine, Ms. Daliya and Ms. Suraya for being on the panel today. We're going to do things slightly differently. I'm going to start off with an introductory video about PRS and TPA. Then I will invite Suraya to do a monologue about today's theme. That's the first, I think, that's been done in a panel session. So I look forward to that. Thereafter, I will start my conversation with the panelists. Then there will be a couple more videos, short videos, one at midway and one at the end. And after the second video, I will start to look at questions in Slido. Yeah? So keep those questions coming so that we have plenty of things to talk about. All right, can I have the first video, please? Is the video being played? Okay.
Wow, Hasrul, thinking of a country home already? But your retirement is still a long way.
Yes, it's important to have adequate savings for my retirement. You would agree that's what we all want?
True. Retirement savings is really something we need to plan ahead. Private retirement schemes, PRS, is a voluntary long-term savings and investment scheme designed to help Malaysians save more for retirement. There are several key components under the regulatory framework, as stated on the website of Private Pension Administrator Malaysia, PPA.
Yes, there's a proper segregation of roles and responsibilities of all key parties in the PRS industry. Securities Commission Malaysia SC is empowered by the Capital Markets and Services Act 2007 to develop and regulate the PRS industry. PPA is the central administrator for the PRS industry. PPA protects PRS members' interests, provide online access to PRS members' accounts, and educate the public about the importance of retirement readiness. PRS providers are financial institutions that are licensed by SC to offer and manage PRS funds. PRS consultants are individuals representing the PRS providers and distributors to market and distribute the PRS funds, while distributors are either licensed bankers or financial planning firms that represents and distributes from more than one provider's funds. As an added layer of security, each scheme is required to have SC-approved scheme trustee to act as custodian to safeguard your PRS savings.
Okay, the regulatory framework for PRS is robust. How can I enroll?
You can enroll for a PRS account directly with any of the 8 PRS providers through a PRS distributor or via PPA's PRS online service. Upon enrollment, you will be given a PPA online account where you can view and monitor your PRS savings made with each PRS provider in a single consolidated view. Contribution into your PRS accounts will be maintained in 2 separate sub-accounts. Sub-account A, which holds 70% of your savings, can be withdrawn upon reaching 55 years old, whereas sub-account B, which holds the remaining 30%, can be withdrawn once a year.
Starting to plan for our retirement early is a good step and right thing for us to do, isn't it, Raj?
Yeah, Lin and Raj. Start small, start now. Easy to remember, kan? You can consult with any of the 8 PRS providers or visit PPA's website for more information.
I wonder if there's a tool that can help to calculate how much funds we will need when we retire?
Oh, you can find out about it in our episode 3. Brought to you by PPA Malaysia.
Okay, thank you so much. Hope you have learned something new from the video. Okay, let's get to it. I'm sure we're all excited to hear Ms. Suraya. So over to you. Take it away.
Thank you, Encik Husaini, and also thank you so much for the lovely introduction by Encik Ibrahim earlier. All my merapu tweets, please ignore them. I would like to start off this particular session with just this kind of utter gratefulness for being given this platform to say my piece about retirement, seeking fulfillment of retirement in Malaysia. I consider myself a little bit of like a konon, very poyo financial activist, but regardless, I will just kind of try and summarize maybe start off this session with a summary of the how people sense retirement nowadays. I have three major points to highlight. The first one is being retirement as a concept is outdated, right? Retirement as a concept that you work all your life and then you retire, you stop working at age 55 is an outdated concept. We need to mentally prepare ourselves for the possibility of working forever, all of our life, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. If it is the best possible scenario is if you continue working by choice, it has great mental benefits, like people who quit working, they have that loss of identity. Sometimes, mentally when you're not doing anything complex, you mentally deteriorate. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Working by choice is not a bad thing. However, it is bad if you have to continue working by force. However, the reality is that we have to mentally prepare ourselves for this world where working is just something that is continuously done over our lives. Another thing that we should consider is recently I saw a statistic from Securities Commission saying that 60% of people who withdraw money from EPF finish that amount of money within 3 years. So that is a very scary thing to think about, and you can't even fault the people who are doing that. Number one, the amount is just really little. That's a reality. And number two is that it is very, very common for parents to spend money on their children, help them out with education costs, help them out with their first home, perhaps help them out with like whatever kids are up to nowadays, right? And we also have this, we live in a community where we are expected to help out our neighbors, our community, especially during the pandemic. Kita jaga kita, right? When we are faced with that situation, it is such a simple enabling thing to do to help people in need rather than thinking of long-term retirement. So that's number one, working forever. Number two is that when it comes to the importance of retirement, I'm very well aware that the message is always, saving money is important. Saving money is important. And yes, the first level, that's the awareness stage. Very, 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 very true. However, we also have to acknowledge that people are already saving money. AKPK have done studies where they say that, people are generally saving money. And according to one financial survey done by iMoney recently, and AIA actually, 86% of people already saving money, but even with this 86% of people who are already saving money, only 50% can survive less than 3 months, and 12% cannot survive for even 1 month without an income. So we can see here that the problems are beyond this habit of saving money. The problems are more structural in nature. We're talking about cost of living. We're talking about wealth inequality. We're talking about consumerism culture. We're talking about all this like this culture of borrowing against one's future, BNPL, everything like that coming up right now. And not enough money is not a mere complaint. Department of Statistics Malaysia have said that the mean salary in Malaysia for 2020, for last year, is down from 3,224 ringgit down to 2,933 ringgit. And that's not all. The median salary also went down last year. It went down. The median salary is now 2,062 ringgit. Down from 2,449 ringgit in 2019. And when you consider EPS Belanjawanku, the median salary of 2,000 ringgit is barely enough to cover a single person in Klang Valley. So we have to consider about that. The other thing, the third point that I want to make in this monologue of mine is that we have to acknowledge for most people, the message of saving money is not enough. We have to throw out the message of earning income. The 80%, what I've told you just now, the 80% of people who are earning like between 2,000 to 5,000 ringgit per month, the only way that they can save enough money for even including for retirement, the only fighting chance that they have is to earning more money. So we as a part of a society, we have to continue on giving the message that we have to promote this message of like earning money is the solution, not saving money, and also we have to always promote the continuous improvement of social support network, improvement of public facilities, improvement of kids daycare and things like that. Maybe one final point that I want to make is that this cannot be like a one-off thing. This is continuous. According to Kazanah Research Institute study, they did a study about COVID-19 and unequal learning. According to the Ministry of Education, right, of the 900,000 students who are studying online, only 37% of them don't have any devices for learning. Only between 6 to 9% have a laptop, have a tablet, right? And they have to share it in their household. That's less than 10%. That's people who do not have the ability to learn through online learning. And this is the generation that's going to carry forward in the future and have to somehow fight their way in this very unequal system that we have right now. So I'm going to start off with that. Thank you for listening. I will hand it back over to you, Encik Husaini.
All right. So when we hear all those statistics, Suraya, they all sound scary, right? But is there a light at the end of the tunnel for Malaysians? How can we reassure our listeners who are with us here that things will get better, just need to do A, B, C, D? Is it as simple as that?
I am an ardent believer of the nudge concept promoted by behavioral economist. Can't remember his name now. It is the belief that holding people accountable, personal responsibility can only do so much. Asking people to learn, asking people to do for themselves, do insurance, do unit trust, save for retirement, do all these things for yourself, do wasiat, do everything else, right? The fact is that some people is going to fall through the gaps. I'm a big believer of the nudge concept, where it is people who are in decision-making processes make good decisions on their behalf. And it's not that we don't have those systems in place right now, it is just not enough. So one of the examples is EPF, the mandatory contribution from both employees and employers. That's good. That's a great way of ensuring people have at least some sort of cushion, but also at all levels in society. It is also including things like managers promoting promotions, also increase salaries for their workers, people helping their employees or people they hire to earn more money, more income, and to promote better financial decisions. Ultimately, it sounds idealistic, I'm aware, but we are at this point where we can't afford not to have like these grand ideas floating around so that people can actually act on them.
Okay, thank you. I'll let you rest for a while. Let me go to Daliya first. Okay, just bear with me. I have long questions. Yeah, PRS was launched by the government in July 2012 as a voluntary retirement scheme for Malaysians to save more for their retirement. This is to complement the mandatory scheme that Suraya mentioned just now. At the time, COVID-19, pandemic, lockdown, and SOP were never part of our daily lives. But is there a message? Is this message still relevant today? That Malaysians should still save more for their retirement, or are people more worried about just getting by, keeping their jobs and the likes?
Yeah.
What's your view on that?
Yeah. Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Encik Husaini. My fellow panelists, Suraya, great to hear from Suraya and Jasmine, right? And hello to the colleague from industry. Okay. Regards to the question, first of all, this pandemic is a truly new thing for everyone. Yeah. It's unprecedented crisis for everyone globally. And I think we must agree that there is tremendous impact on all of us, right? Emotionally and financially. You see, if you look at Malaysia, it was highlighted that average monthly household income has decreased. I think about 10% last year, and about 20% or roughly 600,000 household move from M40 to B40 is very concerning, right? So we acknowledge it is a challenge, and a challenge that we recognize, right? But one good thing about it is that it has enforced upon us the importance to have more saving and retirement fund. You see, well, now with pandemic, anything can happen, and everyone need to be prepared and adequately prepared for the future. You see, during the initial lockdown, I think many people find themselves, without job, or with no income, or some with much reduced income. Then they have to start deep into their saving. So then the importance of saving for retirement has been in the spotlight. Given this experience that they have to depend on their saving to sustain during this short period, I think about a year or two, right? That we have been in this situation. You see, but now when we talk about retirement, it's just not for 1 or 2 years. It's a long duration of 18 to 20 years or even 25 years. So imagine that with no paycheck, less energy, like Soraya mentioned, earn more income, you don't have the energy or opportunity, and not enough saving to sustain. So I remember the old saying said, pesan orang dulu-dulu lah, beringat-ingatlah, So we have to beringat-ingatlah when we spend, beringat-ingatlah for the future. And most importantly is that beringat-ingatlah untuk menyimpan. So to conclude that, this pandemic is a lesson for everyone, and to most of our clients that come in. I think we had a good year. Also, surprisingly during pandemic last year and also this year, that they come in and invest a lot more, right? So it strikes people that they have to save more for the future. Yeah, thank you, Hussin.
Interesting you mentioned about people were dipping into their savings, and if you remember way back in around at the beginning of 2020's pandemic, there were a lot of debates about whether people should be allowed to dip into their retirement savings. Mm-hmm. Things have progressed from there. There were quite a number of initiatives done by the government, but could have. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, asking you.
Yeah. Sure.
But do you think from a financial point of view, there's a different way than dipping into your retirement savings?
Okay, now, survival is one thing, right? And how we make up to it. During that, it's a learning, it's something unprecedented, so people are not prepared. So those who are not prepared to have their cash other than EPF, right, is a lesson, right? So it's a lesson that all of us learn, that we have to dip into our retirement fund. Now, a lesson that we have to act upon, right, going forward and from now on. So yes, it happened. So, but going forward, if similar things happen, or even to prepare for the future, we have to take charge. We have to, self-care, right? Ideal that, Suraya mentioned just now, if we have that, comprehensive plan. But then now, since we don't have that, maybe not 100% as what we wish, we have to take charge and start beringat-ingatlah.
All right, let me go to the third panelist. Okay, again, a long questions. PRS was designed specifically for retirement savings, but as you know, there are other products and schemes out there that Malaysians can choose to park their savings either for long-term or short-term objectives. So what is your message to Malaysians who are planning for their long-term savings, such as for retirement?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Right, good morning to all the panelists, right, and all the participants. Wish everyone have a good day. Right. Instead of Danny, I think you have posted a very good questions to me. I personally, I actually have some idea, right, or some concept that I think if there's young audience in this session, right, I think that will actually help them a lot. Unfortunately, I think for myself, I'm no longer young, right, so that may not apply to me. But when it comes to retirement, I personally always believe that start as early as possible as you can, right? Very often we talk to like some of our kind of friends, right? A lot of them, they are young. Right? So when they're young, they will just think that retirement is very far from me, right? I probably like still not time for me to prepare. I no need to prepare. But I think I just want to re-emphasize a very important message here, right? For retirement planning, please start as early as possible as you can. Time is money, right? For retirement planning, because when you are young, you will actually have more time to plan. So that will actually allow you to take, I would say, higher risk in growing your wealth, right? Because if you already come to the middle stage, right, or probably approaching the age that you want to plan for your retirement, right, then you have to utilize a portion already. The ability for you to take risk is actually lower, right? But if you are young, even you invest in some of the higher risk asset class, right? As time actually spread through, the volatility will actually reduce, right? And you no need to actually worry that much about, I would say, the risk, right, or the volatility you can actually face in the markets, right? So you can utilize your time to help you grow your wealth in a very early stage, right? Of course, come to the middle stage, right? That's where the time you want to add in more income element to move towards more moderate, and towards the late stage, right, where you want to go for retirement, then you have to move to very conservative, because that you have to prepare your funds to be utilized for your retirement, right? And second thing that I want to emphasize a little bit is that when it comes to retirement planning, right, very often when we talk to our client, they will actually tell us that I have EPF. I think once Soraya had mentioned a very, very good, philosophy that she had just now. A lot of time, right, we all think that we can save, right? I can do my saving, right? I already have my EPF, right? So generally, I think I save enough for my retirement. But according to the statistic once Soraya actually shared just now, it's very, very clear that a lot of us, right, either we don't earn enough, okay, or we don't save enough, right? So when you don't earn enough or you don't save enough, right, what is more important is that you have to utilize time, and you have to utilize your asset, your investment, right, to actually help you to grow your money. So that's what I emphasized just now. Time is very, very important, and you have to utilize it to the right way, right? And come to the same questions that we all have EPF, but ask ourselves, is the EPF really sufficient? I think we have came across some of the statistics that more than 50% of Malaysians, when they're approaching, right, the retirement age, right, they don't even reach the basic saving that is required by EPF, right? And a lot of people actually think that because I have EPF, right, that can actually help me to sustain my retirement, right? I no need to save additional, right? Or maybe I save, I'm not disciplined enough, right? Like people like me, ladies, we like shopping, we like traveling. So a lot of time, right, we do save, but we save for a different purpose. We don't save for our retirement. We save to buy a house, we save to buy a car, we save for our traveling. And a lot of time, this money, right, because it's so flexible that you save, you can take out anytime, right? So what it means that when I want to use it to buy a car and buy a house, I just take my saving and utilize it for all the different purposes instead of for my retirement. So
that's true. Yeah, that's true, because in financial planning, that you need to save for different buckets, right? One is for cooking, one for holiday, education.
Exactly.
I mentioned that as well. Now we have also to have buckets for retirement savings and emergency use also, yeah?
Yeah. So that's where a lot of people will ask the question, how much to save? Right, I think I fully agree with PPA, right? We also have the same concept that if you can save at least 1/3 of your salary. So for Malaysian, we are actually good enough that we have the mandatory scheme, right? One of the world best mandatory retirement scheme that we all enjoy. that itself, you already put in the 23% there, right? So to achieve the 1/3, you have to at least save additional 10%, right, for your retirement. And where to put this retirement money, I strongly encourage you to utilize PRS, because PRS is, I actually like this PRS concept, right? Because PRS is something that is really designed, right, for retirement purpose. So it's a very disciplined approach to help you save. So we came across like some of our friends that say that, oh, yeah, if I put in the PRS, right, so I don't have the flexibility to utilize it. But that is exactly what you want.
That's
and
what
what you need.
I like that. Yeah.
Because of you don't have the flexibility to take the money out, right? So you have the discipline to continue save for a long term, just like your EPF. Okay, so for me, I think that myself, I'm very glad that I have my EPF. Right? I will wish that I have started another pool of EPF when I was young enough. Right? So I think this is what I like about PRS, and what I think really PRS makes a difference as compared to others saving or investment vehicles that you have. Is really a vehicle to help us for retirement planning.
All right, thank you. I mean, thank you for the background on PRS and the reason for PRS. Let me go back to Suraya. She has rested enough, I think. All right. Here, it was once said to me that the best way to retire is to keep working. You also touch on that, working by choice or working by force after one has retired. But I'm sure you know there are people among us who are tired of working now, even now, and talk about wanting to retire early. What would be your advice to these people, or what do you say to these people, Suraya?
It is a fantasy. Early retirement is a fantasy. There's this one subgroup, I think, inside the personal finance community. They call themselves the FIRE community. Maybe you've heard of it. Financially independent, retire early, or shortened to FIRE community. Right? And it struck me how many people. So the aim of this committee is to do just that, to have early retirement. And it struck me how many people in this committee actually just really hated their jobs. You see a lot of people doing that whole, I'm working in a job that I really hate, but it pays a lot, but it's okay. If I just keep this up for another 3 more years, I'll be like financially independent, and thus I can retire. And people kind of sort of celebrate that in a very, it is celebratory, I agree. And once in a while you come across posts who's like, oh, I put in my notice today. I no longer have to work in, I don't know, whichever sector that they're working in, high stress sector that they're working in. Early retirement is absolutely possible. It is doable. However, it is also a very, I would say, limited to one's privilege. It really depends on one's privilege. If you are lucky enough to have high skill, high value skill sets, then it is much easier for you to achieve early retirement. But if you're not, and if you have other things that will make it unlikely for you to achieve those high paid jobs, then it is very unlikely for you.
Harta pusaka from your.
Yes, all the shortcuts you can think of lah. The harta pusaka, lottery. Some of them actually do. They put it in a very like, yes, lottery. The chances of winning is very small, but you miss 100% of the chances that you don't take kind of mentality. It does exist. And for people like this, they also, when you believe in something, you find arguments that supports your belief. It's one of the fallacies that exist in the human mind. They will say things like, oh, I don't do lottery for that. I know the chances is low, but if I don't enter, then my chances will be zero. And I also do it to feel like a sense of belonging, because all my colleagues are also joining. We do it as an activity together, which you can also kind of understand. Obviously, this doesn't apply to like Muslims. Please don't gamble. However, it is very, very true that lottery is a very cultural thing in some aspects of the world. Another thing that I want to point out about early retirement is that many of them is actually kind of only doable considering lifestyle choices that not everyone can can make. Lifestyle number one, being child-free by choice. Lifestyle number two, moving to a country where the cost of living is extremely low. So you see all of this posts about that. All this matchale moving to Southeast Asia, for example, and living there because cost of living is low. So not everyone can do that. However, I also have to point out there are sub communities in the FIRE community where they call themselves fat FIRE, who are people who wants to achieve early retirement with a way bigger nest than the average person reaching early retirement. So that's what I have to say about the community lah.
All right, thank you. Okay, Daliya, let me go back to you. AIA launched a new fund in March 2021 and also offered incentive like 1% bonus units to encourage more savings into AIA PRS funds. But throughout 2020-21, which are the pandemic years, AIA was the only provider who introduced a new fund. Also, it was the first time a new fund was launched by AIA since you first came on board in mid-2013. So what's the rationale behind that? You know, I guess pandemic didn't factor into your planning, or you see something there?
Okay, thank you, Encik Husaini. Okay, it's actually FIMM AIA. It's our vision to be the preeminent pension asset management partner in Malaysia by providing a leading wealth accumulation solution. So during this time, a prolonged low interest rate environment, our campaign, how we design a campaign, including the 1% bonus unit, as you mentioned, is to drive more long-term retirement wealth accumulation among Malaysians. And the rationale of launching the new fund is actually the Global Islamic Growth Fund, is to offer to our client, potential client, a diversified portfolio in global equity and a long-term capital acquisition. So then we time, as you see, we time when we should go into the market or when should we introduce new strategy to the client, existing and also potential client. And then it is actually the first time AIA PRS or FIMM focus on developed market, emerging market, Asia as Japan, and to be a Sharia compliant as well. It's a lot of combination over that. And why we launch it during pandemic time? I think we see opportunity. Being a Sharia compliance fund is that we are focusing to a certain industry, emphasis towards healthcare, technology, and some new economy that works well. And we see tremendous growth and acceptance during this period of a pandemic. But it worked well. The performance has been great. Year to date, we clocked in a very good, great performance. I think we are charting in that category as leading, in the growth, Islamic growth area. And we make a lot of our investors happy. And I think
the appetites. I mean, there's strong appetites for Islamic funds.
There's strong appetite. I think that fund has been one of our best-selling funds for this year since the launch, and it keep on going, right? So we introduce strategy when we think it's a good time, and we continue to drive incentive to motivate Malaysia to invest more for long term.
Thank you. Ms. Jasmine, taking from where you stopped just now about investing or saving in PRS, some people find quite mind-boggling to start a PRS. I think Ms. Raya has a whole blog about that as well. Like there are 8 providers and up to 55, 56 funds, Islamic, conventional and all that. So what do you advise? I mean, how to make it simple? What would be your advice to start in PRS, Jasmine?
I think PPA have actually done a very good job, right? With a website that have equipped with all the informations. So I think for the general audience who really don't know about PRS much, right, and don't know much info about each of the providers and also the funds that is available, right, I would strongly suggest you go to PPA website, because PPA website have actually tell you very clearly about what PRS is all about, right, how PRS works, and also they have included all the providers there, right, where you can actually browse all the funds that is available under each providers and also their performance. So, and also at the same time, right, PPA have also made PRS investment, I would say, seamless through the online portal. So you can basically invest in PRS, right, by going through the PPS online website, right? So I would think that is the first thing I would recommend those people who don't really know much about PRS at this point in time, but want to have more detailed information about PRS to do. Right? Right. There's a lot of providers that give different scheme, different funds that invest in different regions, right? So probably from there you can find more information and choose the one that you think best suit the investment objective that you have. Yeah.
How about RSB? You haven't launched any fund since you started in PRS way back in October, November 2012. Any fund coming soon?
Yeah, at the moment, we actually have 5 funds. We have the 3 core offering and we have 2 Islamic non-core offering. In fact, we have not launched new fund for many years. Yeah, as you rightly pointed out, and we just woke up recently, right? So in fact, this week itself, this Monday, we had just introduced a new fund, right, for PRS non-core selection into the market. So this is actually a fund of funds. All the selection we had previously, right, are very Malaysia centric, right? So we also acknowledge that as investors is actually seeking out to diversify their investments, we have to give, I would say, more selection to our investors. So we have launched this fund of funds called IHB Allocator Fund, right? So it basically invests in the pool of Islamic funds that we have in IHB Asset Management and IHB Islamic International Asset Management that have quite a decent performance track record, right, over the past few years. And it covers, in the geographical range, it basically covers global equities, right? It covers Asia equities, it covers China, right? And also it covers domestic market and also the fixed income as well. So it's quite a dynamic asset allocation. So our fund managers, because what we noticed that at the moment, a lot of funds, right, it's basically very geographical centric, either in one area, either Malaysia, global, or Asia, right? So for diversification purpose, especially for coming to PRS, I think diversification is something also very important for investors to consider over time, right? Because it's a long-term investment, and that is why we actually make this fund available, right? So that by investing into this one fund, you can have a diversification in terms of every key markets in the world. Yeah.
That sounds interesting. I can't wait for the launch. Yeah.
Yeah, already launched. So you can actually go to PPA, right? You can go to IHB Asset Management Customer Service or any IHB bank branches to ask for more information.
So I'll think about that. Okay.
Thank you.
It's time to take a short break. Let's go to the next video for a message from PPA. Can I have the next video, please?
Your retirement should be your reward. Save 10% or more of your salary in PRS. Start now. Terms apply. Visit ppa.my.
Thank you. There you go. Save an additional 10% of your salary into PRS. Essentially, we always advocate make it a habit. Like for example, when it's deducted and when your salary is deducted for mandatory scheme, you also do similar for the voluntary scheme. Yeah. Okay. Suraya, you talk about consumerism in your monologue just now. Consumerism is about the pleasure of spending. So with unrestrained spending, especially on credit card, there will come a time when you have debt problem. So when you have debt problem, you don't have enough extra to save for retirement. So how do you, again, what do you say to these people who can't stop looking at iPhone 13, for example, now iPod 7 I don't remember what they are now, but yeah, iPod 13, I know. Yeah. iPhone 13, sorry. Okay, what's your message?
Thank you for the question. I just want to quickly to echo what Ms. Jasmine said about the PPA website being very good. It is very good. So I want just to commend the PPA team for doing a wonderful job in putting all the information. I find it very easy to navigate. But going back to the question about that, this is a hard one. I have a very strong opinion about iPhone. iPhone lasts long and it has great resale value. It is one of the best investment in technology that a person can make. Therefore, like shaming someone for owning good quality pieces of equipment is something that I personally try and reduce. I can't possibly eliminate it, but I can reduce. But it is true that someone who keeps their, we're not talking about the subset of population who like changes their gadgets every single year. We're talking the average user who's using it for a very long time, 5 years or more. But with the attitude about that is something that is very, very, how do you say? Let me just mention a story. The other day, I went to EPF Facebook page and they were talking about, they were giving, like a really nice illustration differentiating between good debt and bad debt. And EPF got attacked by netizens. People are saying, why are you keeping my money away from me? Of course, it's in Malay. Majority was in Malay. Like give us back like 10,000 ringgit of our money. Give us back 20,000 ringgit of our money. And I'm just there reading like, wow. It's not that people don't want to hear advice. It's not that people don't think that EPF is not doing a good job or anything like that. It's just who says the message matters, right? Who says that you should save? Who says that don't get into that matters? People are more likely to hear from their own peers rather than this very general, I guess, top-down advice, especially from people who are very well off, telling them that they should save money. They get very, for lack of a better word, they get very frustrated, they get very angry, and we know it's for a good reason. Immediate needs are more important than long-term needs. It is simply a factor of our life right now. But another thing that we have to remember is that the attitude towards that is very different. People who are lucky enough to have been born to like a good upbringing, not good upbringing, but like parents who I learned my financial management from my parents, and I've been lucky enough, the importance of savings and all of that. But some people are born to families where like it's very usual for them to finance their lifestyle with that. Oh, don't have money, just use your credit card. And these are advice that are given to them from their parents, given to them by their immediate friends. Oh, you don't have money to buy that car. Just take a personal loan. That is given out as advice. So instead of thinking like, why do people get into debt so much? We have to think about what are the situations that encourages their peers or their trusted ones to believe that that is an instrument that is as freely used to purchase consumption in daily life. For many people, and this I've heard about when I was chatting with personnel from AKPK, for many people who were not brought up with financial values from their parents or immediate friends, right? Your environment makes your personal attitude towards money. Their moment of clarity comes when they can no longer hide or tweak their debt situation. So the moments when like they are forced to bank, the bank says that we're going to lelong your car, we're going to lelong your house, then they're forced to do something about it. Then they're going to go to the AKPK hopefully and do something about it. But before then, they will keep on, okay, let's get a personal loan in order to pay my car, in order to pay my house. That's very, very usual. And we all know about the debt spiral, but some people are not aware of things like that. We have to know that even BNM, I think a few years ago, they came out with a statement saying some financial products are unnecessarily complicated. And jargons, for the sake of, it is true that jargons are used to be in the most precise way possible, but in doing the jargon, we are eliminating complete subsets of the society that do not understand them and do not know what to do with the information. So with the people who, going back to the original question, which is what do these people who are in debt already doing? These are not the people who you should tell, please save more money. They're just going to be angry at you. You don't say save more money to them. Instead, I personally believe that for these types of community, we should be able to help them find alternatives or help them point out alternative lifestyles that actually do not require much money in order to survive, because that is, again, the reality of the situation. Things like co-living. Co-living is just a new term for a very old, really branded type of lifestyle where many people share their resources together. The whole kampung living and communal living, being a very active part of the community where they all kind of like help each other. These are the alternative lifestyles that we should at least like plant into people's mind. Like this, if you are not able to save, then at least your plan B is you can still have at least like a basic livable survival in a retirement where you don't have enough money. That is my own personal belief on the question.
Right. Let me look at the questions on Slido. The first two, I can take them. For example, one, what is a comfortable amount to retire for city folks and non-city folks? Actually, there is the amount. It depends on one's lifestyle. And I think Ms. Roy also mentioned about EPF Belanjawanku. That's one source where you can go, or you can go to PPA website where we have a retirement calculator that can pretty much give you an estimate of how much you need. But essentially, it's all about what is your lifestyle now and what is comfortable. So if you don't have enough, that means you have to look at you need to take a hard thinking about whether you need to adjust your lifestyles or change the way you spend and things like that. Yeah? Okay, next one. There's a question about some disappeared. Okay. I have one for Suraya. Agree with Suraya that retirement is an outdated concept as we are healthier and living longer. But what is the solution?
Okay, recently I read this really good book. I posted it on my Instagram, I believe. This one guy from the UK, he did an experiment where for one whole year, he didn't use any money. And he explored basically alternative lifestyle. And it is not a solution for someone who still wants to participate in modern life. However, it is a solution for someone who have no other choices, right? This person basically found himself, he lived in a van on a farm where he worked in exchange for some necessities, not money. He didn't accept money. He planted, he foraged, he performed services in exchange for like running water and things like that. And we may have to rethink whether or not we are able, for someone who are not able to participate in modern life in how it's visualized in modern media, in TV, right? This might be the reality that the only option left for you. However, in Malaysia's events, we don't have to get into that kind of extreme where it's like a literal van, although there's nothing wrong with living with a van. I've done it. It's actually quite comfortable. I have known one person who have moved to a Orang Asli settlement and built a life there after retirement, and he cited financial issues or lack of during that time. So in a very simple way, it is living in a very simple life where your cost of living is almost minimal and having a very, very strong community where you share resources with each other is the possibly only solution left for people who don't have enough money in retirement. Sorry to be blunt, but I do have to, it is something that people might have to think about.
It's a hard decision to make. Yeah. True. Whether you adjust your standard of living or you do something like what you mentioned. Okay, Daliya, a question for you. Well, I'm giving the question to you, but it's not a question as your name. Yeah? Consultant seems to promote PRS as tax relief tools rather than a scheme to complement EPF. How to encourage PRS consultants to advise clients based on their retirement needs?
Okay, is that, yeah.
That's the question.
Okay.
As you know, PRS has always been sold by simply as a tax relief. So how to change the mindset of consultants to say, advise clients on needs?
Yeah. Okay, sure. So now, yes, tax relief, that is the sweetener, right? That is the incentive to encourage people to start, right? Among others, like you have others also, PTPTN and all that, and a lot more, right? But how to sell is really based on the needs of the people, right? We have to sell based on the goal that they have. What is the retirement lifestyle that they want, right? What is enough for them, right? As a basic, I don't know. Maybe you can look at your annual expenses and times 20 for 20 years in retirement, or times 25 you have extended, right? So then you know that's the basic, right? Your current or anyone current expenses, time those people. And actually, when you sell it based on goal, needs, right? And it's up to the client to see that. Even I do it for myself. How much I need to retire, how much I spend now, how can I adjust, and which I'm willing to adjust, right? And we settle to a certain amount, okay? And times 25. That's what I need to retire. And what is the shortfall? From EPF, from my current PRS account. And from then I would know, okay, how long I'm going to work and how much I have to contribute every month. And I'm a person which I try to make it simple. Whatever it is, I just deduct it on monthly basis from my salary or do a standing instruction. So it's worry free. It just goes straight over there. I don't have to do anything on monthly basis. And we already put this money aside, and just forget about it. Let the fund manager do their work and try to make the best return for you. And when you retire, you have that. Of course, you go in and check your performance whenever you like it on PPA website, and most provider, they have statement and all that. So you check the progress and see the shortfall. When you see that, the improvement on maybe yearly basis, it gives certain satisfaction to me and to the people that, hey, I'm closer to my goal, or I'm closer to, if I want to retire early, for example, 10 years early, then you give a lot more, want to put aside a bit more on monthly basis. So that's how it is, right?
It means we have to be proactive in planning how much we want to set aside, and we need to monitor how our savings are doing and of that sort.
Yeah.
Say leave it and then go to sleep, yeah?
Yeah. That's a fact. That's a fact, right? So then to my answer short is that go base, advice, based on their needs.
Okay, Jasmine, how do you differentiate PRS? I mean, I can answer this question, but I would like you to answer. How do you differentiate PRS from ordinary unit trust fund other than the tax savings? PRS funds return up to expectations?
Yeah, I think if you look at the overall PRS return, right, that's as published by most of the providers, it's actually up to quite in line with the investment returns that we are getting, like from other collective investment scheme, including your unit trust and things, right? I guess this actually comes back to my answer that I have given in my earlier sharing, right? I think the PRS being structured, right, is a key difference as compared to other collective investment scheme. Okay, like very often, I want to re-emphasize this again. This is a very, very important, right, thing that a lot of us think we can save. We can do it voluntarily, right? But answer to a lot of people is that we are not. Okay? A lot of time the discipline comes with some force. Yeah, whether you like it or not, right? So when you have this force, right, that make you to stay disciplined, okay, that's where you can actually successfully achieve your goal. Okay, and PRS basically come with this structure. You like it or not, then give you this force or this discipline. And it meant for a long-term saving purpose. And you already, whatever money that you put inside PRS scheme, on the first day, you already prepare yourself. I won't touch the money. I'm going to save this portion of money for my retirement, right? Whereas the other investment scheme doesn't give you this kind of mindset. So this is very, very important, I think, right? Because once you go in with this kind of mindset, you will kind of discipline yourself and keep repeating, telling yourself that I want to save this, right? To make sure that I have enough money, right, for me to retire earlier or for me to actually have a comfortable life. So that in a way will lead to, I would say, an easier success to save in PRS or some form of like voluntary retirement scheme than to use other vehicles, right, for your retirement saving. Yeah, and another thing, what I see is very important thing is that we always come across like people thinking that I have EPF. I have to mention, I mentioned again, I have EPF, right? Yes, you have EPF, but if you have not yet reached your retirement, right, whatever today you can do a goal, right? Like if you work up to 60 years old, how much you can actually have in your EPF, right? So sometimes you may think that, oh, I already have sufficient in EPF, okay, for my retirement. But don't forget the fact that anything that is out of your prediction can happen in futures. It may be one day you may lose your job, touch wood, right? Or it may be one day that will be something that happened. You are not able to save that amount of money already. If you don't have income, you have no money go into EPF. Okay, so as early as possible, if you still can have your income, right? And according to your ability, as much as you can save on top of your EPF, please do so. Yeah. So always remember, save before you spend.
Right.
Then to spend, then only think of your saving. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I think I want to share. And that is what make PRS unique and perfectly fit into this retirement planning purpose.
All right. As it was designed by the government,
yes,
as you were back in 2012. Okay, Suraya, I have a specific question for you. Suraya, what is your opinion of private sector workers who shifted to gig economy or self-employed during pandemic? Should they make a comeback to corporate world?
Case by case, definitely. The best possible scenario is you have a corporate gig that gives you all the fancy, regular income every month, all the insurance, all the benefits, free gym, hopefully free accommodation if you can get from them. And then, which also imposes strict company hours, so you don't work beyond company hours. And during your free time, you can use them for your gig economy. That is the best case situation. And I've actually seen the same type of advice being thrown around by the multiple people who are in the personal finance industry, basically challenging people to see that you have your income from a full-time job, and then you also have your income from your part-time job. Try to only use the money from your part-time job to sustain your lifestyle, and then use your full income from your full-time job to put towards saving. And this is assuming you are someone who wants it all. You want the nice retirement, you want the annual travel, you want to fully fund all of your children's education, which you should. You want like the best possible insurance. What else do people want? You want your dream car, you want your dream home, right? You want it all. This is the type of setup that you should consider to achieve the lifestyle that you want.
Okay, the next question I will take is does government have any plan to promote PRS savings besides tax incentive? Is the tax incentive going to extend? Okay, first of all, when we talk about government, actually for the industry, we work with the Securities Commission, who is the regulator of the capital market, hence the regulator of PRS. So we will essentially, if we look at all other countries that have retirement savings like, voluntary retirement savings schemes like PRS, they all offer tax savings or tax incentive to incentivize and to promote their population to want to put more for their retirement. So the same thing will continue to be promoted or continue to be worked out by the regulator with the industry, because we need to get Malaysians to save more. And since this is voluntary, one of the best way is to offer an incentive such as tax incentive. But occasionally during the special, I would say, event or special year like last year, there was some incentive given through the allowance to withdraw, again, dipping into the savings during that period. So rest assured, PPA and the industry will continue to work with the regulator to find incentives that the government can agree to announce in the coming, for example, in the coming budgets, goodies and all that. But I think for now, tax relief will continue to stay as is. Will continue as is up to 2025. Maybe in the next year or so, we will start to hear whether it's going to be extended or not. But to me, there's no question it will be extended. It's just a matter of how it's going to be extended. Yeah? All right. I have the next question. Okay. Next question. Retirees need regular income. Why are there no annuities offered with guaranteed income? I don't know who wants to answer. If not, I can answer. Okay.
All yours, Husaini.
All right. Okay. I think the person may be not to say confusing, but as you know, in retirement world, there are two kind of schemes. One is the defined contributions. The other one is defined benefits. Defined contributions are those who, under the law, we have to contribute a certain amount towards our retirement savings. For defined benefits, for Malaysia, this is applicable to civil servants, and they enjoy pension, meaning they continue to get their income, but usually at a lower percentage because they are no longer working. So I think it's around 70% of their last drawn. So when you talk about guaranteed income, so that is already guaranteed for defined benefits. For defined contributions, what you are, depending on whether you are on mandatory or voluntary or in other capital market products, the guarantee may differ. For mandatory contributions, the guarantee is there in terms of you get your principal, you get your minimum dividend every year and so on. But at the moment, there is no plan yet, or rather there is no option yet for annuity. For some of you, annuity is actually an insurance product where for the savings that you have, if you opt for annuity, then the savings, the lump sum savings that you have is converted to regular income, which you can get every month. But one thing people may be confused is with that comes the issue, or rather the situation of what if the person dies early? Do you get the savings? I mean, let's say, for example, you sign up for the annuity, which guarantee you, which give you a guaranteed income every month. But 5 years down the road, you pass on. So what happened to that? So this is something that is still being looked at, and we hope to hear something of that sort offered under the mandatory, but I'm not sure what's the plan. But for for other savings that you have, you can talk to your insurance agents and talk about ask about annuity product. It's all there already. Just that you may need to understand how it's offered and what's the upside and downside. Okay, since we are still looking at this question, let me go this question as well. Jasmine, I guess, where can I get unbiased advice on my retirement planning and PRS, such as robo-advice, online consultation, and so on?
Unbiased advice.
Or talk about robo-advice. What's the trend in the market now with robo-advice?
Actually, we have been seeing like quite a number of, I would say, digital investment license that is being issued, right? Even in the Malaysia market, there's a few operators, right, that is already working. So most of this is actually algorithm based, right? So they typically use a robot to analyze the market data, right, and come up with the investment recommendation and decisions. So from that perspective, you may say it's unbiased, right? Because what they do is that they actually gather all the data, right, from the markets, and instead of human, it's a machine that is doing all the reading and analysis and recommendation from you, right? So that is one of the way that you can actually have. And I think in the market, there's also a lot of financial, I would say, planners that is available. So a lot of these financial planners, right, they don't really like attach to a single companies or single products, I would say entities, right? So they typically they will actually do through all the financial planning. They will review, right, all your financial situations, right? Then they will give advice according to their findings, right, on what can be the best solutions for you in terms of investment, and even in terms of all your other financial plannings. I think that is another channel that you can actually look for. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Dalia, again, this question I can answer, but I would like to ask to you. People put 3,000 to get tax relief, not more, for the one control, do not want to be locked in. Okay. Okay, people put 3,000 for tax relief. They don't want to put more because it's locked in till retirement age. I'm talking about PRS here. Why most people think this way? What caused this? Why do people only want to put 3,000? You talk about goal and all that, right?
Yeah. I think for a start, if they start with 3,000 ringgit, it's okay. Because what we want to do is that to have the habit of investment, the habit of saving for retirement. I think it's fine, 3,000 ringgit is fine, right? But they have to evolve from that, from just 3,000 ringgit to something that, into the amount that contribute to their pool, which what they really need when they retire. I think that is the whole purpose of this, right? So that they have enough for retirement. So I think it's fine to start with 3,000 ringgit for now. It's locked, yes, it's locked for their benefit. It's designed that way, so it's still there. You see, PRS is designed that way. It's not like any other investment. It's not a cookie jar investment where you can take it out whenever you want to buy iPhone 13, for example, right? Then if it's accessible, people tend to take it out because, well, iPhone 13, or the new AirPod, right? But if it's locked, just like our EPF, it's going to be there for you when you at the age where you cannot work, you have less energy and all that. So we want to make sure that the money stays. So it's locked, fine. Do it, even 3,000 ringgit for now, it's fine. Create that habit.
Yeah, PPP also say that fine if you're just going to come 3,000, but there is like 1 foot through the door.
Exactly. So the best is Husaini, they do it 3,000 ringgit, they do via regular saving plan on monthly basis, just like Ryan. So my thing is that when come next year we have new increment, just top up the minimum that you can. Top up another 50 ringgit, right? Or top up another 100 ringgit. If you start at 100 ringgit or 250, Next year top up 50 ringgit lah. So when it comes to retirement age, you know, the amount is already growing in that pool, and will help. You will thank us, and you know, you will thank the industry for having it that way. Yeah.
Okay. I have a couple of questions for Suraya, but let me just ask one first. This can be quite controversial. Our weakness in ringgit contributes to the high living standard indirectly. Yes, right? So they're asking, what do you think our government can do? Weakness in ringgit contributes to high living standard, which I think translates to not enough saving for retirement.
Understand. There's this thing that we share to each other, which is control what you can and plan for what you can. But there are things that are beyond your control, and the economy is one of it. It consists of too many moving parts. Sure, things can be better. Government can do this policy, government can do that policy. The geopolitical situation, China can do this, or I don't know, whichever country can do that. However, it is out of your control. The only thing that you can control is your contribution towards your own savings and your own retirements. And the same answer applies to everything else that is beyond your control. For example, the government should do this or the government should do that. Same answer applies. I want to maybe address this, wanting answers to these questions is not a bad thing. I guess all of us are seeking for a sense of control, try and take back our control, especially during and after the pandemic, where all of us feel that kind of helplessness over what's happening over the world. People are dying, people are sick, people dead, basically. And wanting to gain back that control kind of translate into many types of behaviors. Some people, they get more into some people channel that into more productive ways, for example, improving their income or career, but some other people might not be as lucky to be in a mental health, which they may get fixated into different things. So again, I want to just say that control what you can, let go of what you can't, just only control what you can control, which is your own situation. And it is through your own situation, it is through your own setting by example that you can hopefully contribute to a better environment for everyone else. So don't worry too much about the economy. Obviously, still the whole activism part, ask the government to do better. They should. They're using our tax money. Definitely ask them. But spend 5 minutes being angry and that's it. And then go back to your work, do your own thing. Just don't spend too long being angry, because that energy can be better channeled in better ways.
That's a very good advice. I agree. Only control what you want and don't be angry all the time. Okay. Another short question for Suraya. Do you plan on being certified financial advisor / planner?
Yes, please pray for me. Final module, last one to go.
Oh, you are on track. Okay, great. Okay, let me come back to Daliya. My questions. We at PPA felt encouraged when we saw 2020 industry data in terms of new enrollment in PRS and the amount of contributions made into PRS that year. 2020 data was better than 2019, which was not a pandemic year, as we all know. And so far, we are seeing 2021 to also be a better year compared to 2020. So has the pandemic not impacted Malaysians to want to save into PRS? I think your funds and your bonus units all may contribute to that. Some incentives thrown in by the providers. So what do you think? Why are we seeing a better growth in PRS during the pandemic?
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Encik Husaini. First of all, I think the credit must be given to PPA again, for the good job of promoting PRS. I think that I see Encik Husaini everywhere, trying to raise public awareness on PRS on the PPA website and a lot of public engagement during these 2 years, right? And also the service by PPA actually help a lot. They can go to the PPA website to manage the account, online access, one-stop learning. There's a lot of things that they can do over there, and a lot of information. It actually helped to grow the industry and give understanding to the members about the product and also features of PRS. I think that is very good. Thank you so much. Right. So as mentioned earlier, yeah, definitely that's an impact to the industry, from the pandemic. But also this has also highlighted the importance of having more saving, right, and to save adequately. And because it's actually the realization that we should be prepared for any unforeseen event in the future. So I also hope that this PRS is a good alternative channel for our second retirement account. So looking at a long-term, more sustainable investment objective. So we also at AIA facing a good growth during these 2 years, right? So in 2020, we contributed around 60%, for total industry sales, and for 2021 year to date, about 21% contribution to industry from AIA alone, right? So, and our AUM also increased over 31% year on year in 2020. So that is a good year, right? So then, and I think some of the fund, right? Some of the fund is also performing very well. Even our fund itself, for example, our growth fund actually ranking number 1 year to date among all core funds, in growth funds. So it's what is pandemic is impact us, and also
there's a positive impact.
That's positive impact. But one thing is that the travel restriction actually cultivate, the increase in saving. So they used to spend, they used to travel. So now they have this excess money and they put it aside for saving. So
sorry, the travel restriction, what's the impact to consultants?
No, I mean, like, now they have excess money and they can save from that pool, right? And also we hope that when, all this being eased later on, right, the border is open, people can travel, please continue to maintain this habit of investing and to save before you spend. I think we have been doing great for these 2 years. Let's continue to do it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Asia, if I can say that.
Jasmine, let me get a bit technical here. In the this is for Jasmine. In the just released Capital Market Master Plan 3, there is a section that says Portfolio Account Management Schemes (PAMS) will be introduced in PRS. I think it will be coming in about 2 to 3 years. What is portfolio management versus fund management? You talk about fund or funds. Is that portfolio management? You also talk about robo. I think that's what it is based on a certain calculation. Okay, now PAMs. How is that going to invigorate Malaysians who are considering PRS? We will see more into PRS, and how is providers reacting to this news?
Okay, if you look at the moment, right, all the PRS scheme that is available, we all call it collective investment scheme. Right? When we call collective investment scheme, if I can put it in short, it's a fund that you're investing together with all the other general public, right? And what portfolio management scheme different from the collective investment scheme is that portfolio management, when we say a mandate, right? A portfolio mandate is basically something that tailor-made for you. Okay, so this is an investment scheme that is only for you, and you will actually invest directly into the underlying shares or underlying securities. And whatever that we actually invest, the client will actually will have can look at where we are investing the money, right? And they can look at what kind of securities that we are investing on behalf for them. The collective investment scheme, there's thing good that is very diversified. Right, you're investing together with all the other public, so we have a bigger pool of funds, right, that we can make your investment more diversified, right? But when it comes to portfolio management scheme, right, it's a dedicated portfolio to you. Okay, so ultimately, I think size does matter, right, to determine how much we can actually diversify the investment for our clients. I think that is something that we really have to consider, right, when this whole scheme really roll out to the markets. Okay. And the second thing is that I think in terms of investors who really feel like they want to feel the ownership, right? They like something that have a feel that they are owning it, right? And that is something that tailor-made for them. So I think that actually encourage their interest of investing in this portfolio management scheme. I think that is something that will make a difference, right? But in rolling out, whether industry we are supportive of that or not, I think definitely we are supportive of the initiative, right? But in terms of operationally, right, and in terms of I would say to actualize it, I think we will have to look at how to actually make it available. Yeah.
So we'll wait for SC to come up with the guidelines and all that. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, unfortunately, we are almost coming to an end. As I want to throw in the last question for everyone. These are personal questions. Let's start with Soraya first. What do you look forward to doing after you have retired from full-time job? Don't tell me you're not going to stop working. Huh?
Never gonna stop working. No, I'm kidding. The mindset that I'm taking as of right now, and it may change in the future, is rather than to quit working, is to take mini break or sabbaticals throughout my career. And this is a concept that I've learned. It's not really popular in Malaysia. Many people who like they just simply quit, or like they just quit from the career ultimately. But sabbatical is a concept where like you work and then you might take, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, even up to a year. And sometimes in overseas company, they even fund their employees punya sabbaticals, where they can do basically like, they still get their salary and they can do whatever they want. They can do like community, serving the community, volunteering, whatever it is that they want. I would like to apply the same concept. So work, take sabbatical, come back, fall in love with my work all over again, work, get bored, sabbatical, go have fun.
You work by choice is okay, yeah?
Yes, by choice is okay. So the point is to not hit my life. I think that's the ultimate goal.
All right. Daliya, what do you expect to do, or what do you look forward to do after you have retired from full-time job?
Yeah, I look forward to a blissful, worry-free retirement life, right? I think most people, I do not know, I'm speaking for myself, in this industry, has been long in this industry. So I think I'm look forward for that retirement life. Right? Maybe doing something that I love, No time to travel, now it's time to travel. My book is...
Meaning not the work that you do, something else, yeah?
Yeah. Not do what doing something that I love, giving back to the community, for example, right? Maybe open a small bakery. It's something that I love to do, right? So I enjoy every moment of it. Not saying that I'm not enjoying my moment right now. My passion is in financial and financial management and financial planning. That is my passion. So,
Jasmine?
Yeah.
Next year,
I used to say I want to go travel around. I think people who know me know that I like traveling, right? So that's why I have to save a lot now, so to make sure that I can sustain our lifestyle. Now you see we in a way we have work, we have income, but we don't have time to travel. Right, but at the time we really have plenty of time to travel. We have to make sure that we have the financial support, right, to sustain that kind of lifestyle. Yeah.
So coming back, since we still have a couple more time, interesting, as Soraya mentioned about people who are dying to start working because they hate their job. I think the message is also about, you need to find a job that you love, so that when you retire, or when it's time to retire, you don't want to retire. You want to be like Soraya, who wants to continue working, take short break, come back to working. I think holiday can also be a short break, right, Jasmine?
Yeah, sure.
Feel that you're something new and start working again, do something that you love, That's true, right?
I have a very interesting concept. I'm not sure I should share here or not. I used to tell I tell my husband, if I can have a choice, I would like to just like 3 months I go one country, another 3 months I move to another country, because generally your visa is 3 months, right? So basically I don't need a house here, right? So I can just go around every 3 months. I go on lease, go on Airbnb every 3 months. I just move around the country if I can for a few years. But of course, I cannot spend my whole retirement life doing that. So definitely when we come back, we have to keep ourselves occupied. So that's where I think you really have to look at some of the hobbies that I have, right? And I think I do enjoy some community services, right? So like do some kind of support work, a little bit of helping the charity organization. I think that will be the thing that I will enjoy.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how you want to also contribute to the community. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think we all have to. Yeah.
Okay, at the time, I think it's time for me to wrap up. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you for wonderful ideas, sharing your passions, Suraya, Daliya, Jasmine. And I also feel invigorated about, while the statistics are not so good, but with the message that we take control of what we can and don't worry so much, then we will be able to get through. Yeah. All right. So I will end this with a video. The last video on retirement planning, and after that we'll see again. Yeah? Can I have the next video, please? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey Hasrul, we've been browsing through the website of Private Pension Administrator Malaysia, PPA. It's informative, and now we have a better understanding about private retirement schemes, PRS. The only thing is that we're not sure how 1/3 of our savings becomes 2/3 of our retirement income later.
Don't worry, guys. Let me give you a scenario. Let's say you're intending to retire at age 60 and you would need your retirement income to last for 20 years or more. Like most of us, you would have roughly accumulated at least 23% of your life's earnings from your mandatory contribution scheme. You would also factor in your yearly increment. But even with that, will that be enough to sustain you after retirement?
Gosh, current salary, mandatory contribution scheme, future salary increments? How do I use this information to calculate my retirement income?
It's not that complicated. All you need to do is visit PPA's website and click to Retirement Calculator. For example, I'll key in my age, current salary, current EPF balance, then click Calculate. The results illustration are based on a few assumptions in order to generate how much I have and will need for retirement. It is recommended to save additional 10% in PRS to close the savings gap needed upon retirement. That's how you need to save 1/3 now for 2/3 later.
Wow! Working out how much I need with a retirement calculator makes me see things clearer.
Yes, using the retirement calculator will help you estimate how much you will need to save for your retirement and how long your funds will last. So, start now, save more, and have more for your retirement lah.
Now I know how much I need to save in PRS, but which fund should I select?
Stay tuned for episode 4 to know more about PRS and selecting the type of funds to meet your retirement goals.
Brought to you by PPA Malaysia.